Hey guys, so today we are actually going to be doing the review for chapter 13. Okay, that's what we're going to be working on. Now we have several letters just to remind us because everything here is formulas. So we have several letters. When you see a big A, that means area. When you see a B, that means base. When you see a D, that means diagonal or diameter. And the reason why I keep putting that in there, the two of them, is because next chapter we will be using it as diameter. If you see an H, that means height. So we have different types of shapes. Now remember, for our shapes, all right, so first shape that we have is the parallelogram. That is two sets of parallel sides. Could be a square or rectangle. Remember, those are two special types of parallelograms. So our equation for there is A is equal to BH. The area is equal to the base times the height. Just a sec. And it looks something like this. Our second one is a, let me see. Our second one would be the rhombus. A rhombus has all sides the same length. Could be a square, or what most of you guys think of when you think of rhombuses is a diamond. Okay, so sorry, I forgot. We need to put in what the area is for the rhombus. So a rhombus area equals 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. So let me go and put in all my jazz. So 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Remember, the diagonals go, here, let me do this. The diagonals go straight down, connecting side to side. So I have diagonal 1 and diagonal 2. Those are our diagonals. And then I divide it by 2 when I am done. So I multiply them together, then I divide by 2, and I have my area for my rhombus. Next one we have is our area for a, let's see, trapezoid. That's our next one. A trapezoid has one set of sides that is parallel. Yeah. You really don't have any specific other shapes that you think of when you think of a trapezoid. It's really just, it's just a trapezoid. I can't think of any other special name for it. So with a trapezoid, area is equal to 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times height. So let me go put in all of my lines. So as you can see, for our trapezoid, we have base 1, we have base 2, and then we have the height, which is however tall that is. Let me see. The last one that we have is not one of our quadrilaterals. It is actually our triangle. And for our triangle, let me go into this. a triangle, because it is, well, has three sides. That's what a triangle is. Because it is half of a rectangle, because it is half of a parallelogram, that kind of thing. Remember, a parallelogram is a special kind of rectangle. Sorry, a rectangle is a special kind of parallelogram. Because it is half of that, our area is equal to 1/2 base times height. So I'll put the 2 in there. All right, let me put in my stuff. And this is what our triangle looks like. When we are given information, we fill it in however it is available. For most of it, we are told the base and the height, and then we solve for it. We're told the 2 diagonals, and then we solve for it. We're told the 2 bases and the height, and then we solve for it. Or we're told the base and the height, and then we solve for it. You need all of these equations written down, actually. You're allowed to use your notes on the test, but you're not using your books. Okay, so you're also allowed to use a calculator on the test. Whenever you see the 2 letters right next to each other, you are multiplying them. So we have a lot of multiplication going on in here. And given that I was not going to make all the shapes myself, I got them off of various and sundry worksheets that other people have put together on the internet. And some of the numbers are kind of big. You want a calculator, or if you do not have a calculator, get out a sheet of paper and you're going to be doing some long multiplication. Not insanely long. I think the longest is 2-digit by 2-digit, but you'll do fine. Sometimes, however, they will give you the area, and then the area and either the base or the height, and you have to solve for the other one. In that case, it ends up becoming a equation problem. And you pretty much always have to divide in those ones because we're dealing with so much multiplication here. I think the only option is dividing. The second type of issue that we have going on, and we need to talk about a little bit, is subdividing shapes. So they give you something called an irregular polygon. When you have an irregular polygon, it looks kind of weird. Just a sec. All right, so let's say that I have an irregular polygon that looks like this. It's very blocky. It looks like it might be something out of Minecraft. I can sit there and I can make use of the fact that it is so blocky by subdividing it. So there's a couple of things that I can do to subdivide this. I can either sit here and go through and subdivide here. No, I don't want purple. I want the other color. I can go through and I can subdivide here and here. So I end up with 2 small ones, 1, 2, and then 1 big long one, 3. I can do it that way. Let's call that way A, with the 3 of them split up like that. So A, yeah, way A. So the one with the red. So my areas are all equal to base times height or length times width. Technically, they're rectangles, so I'm going to go with length times width. You could go with base times height. Remember, parallelograms, rectangles. Rectangles are a type of parallelogram. You are perfectly within your rights to use a rectangle, to use the parallelogram form for solving a rectangle. So my very first one, actually, let me label these 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so my very first one, number 1, is going to be 5 times 5, which is 25. My second one, number 2, is going to be 2 times 5. I got the 5 from right there. That's the same one as that one is. So they're both 5s. 2 times 5 equals 10. And number 3 is 12. I know that from the bottom. Times, and then however high this is. So 10 minus 5 gives me 5. 12 times 5, which is equal to 60. I then go 25 plus 10 plus 60 is equal to 95 square meters. All right, so that's how I write it out, 95 square meters. Okay, you with me? Now let's do this a different way. I didn't have to do it that way. I could have done this a different way. Let's use red this time. And let me draw my lines with the red. This time I'm going to go like this. And like this. So I have 2 long ones and 1 small one in the middle. So let me draw in so this one right here is going to be number 1. This one right here is going to be number 2. And this one right here, this whole line is going to be number 3. So when I come over here, I again do, so that I'm going to call this one letter B. This is my second way I could do it, letter B. I am still using area equals length times width because I still have rectangles, all rectangles. Except this time for number 1, it ends up being 5 times 10. 5 times 10 is 50. For number 2, it ends up being 12 minus 2, which is 10, minus 5, which is 5. So this part right here is called 5. It's only 5. 5 times, and then I need to go on this side. 10 minus 5 is the length of this. So 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 times 5, so that is 25. And for number 3, it ends up being the 2 at the top times the 10 for the side. 2 times 10, which is equal to 20. So then I go 50 plus 25 plus 20 is equal to 95 square meters. Now, there was one other way that the book had of solving this, and so I will show you the last way that the book had of solving it, even though it's not really the way that I had us doing it much. And that way we're going to use blue, I think. So text is in blue, drawing is also in blue. This way, we have number 1 being the entire thing. So this entire thing is number 1. And number 2 being this part of it, that little rectangle that I just made. So we're going to call this letter C. The blue is going to be letter C. I am still going to use area equals length times width because I am still using rectangles. Number 1 is going to be the entire thing. So 10 times 12, which is equal to 120. Number 2 is just going to be this little area right here. So 5 times, well, 12 minus 2 minus 5 gives us 5. So 5 times 5. 5 times 5, which is 25. And then because I made the first one too big, I go 120 minus 25 is equal to 95 square meters. Boom. Okay, those are the 3 different ways that you could have solved this. Whichever way jumps out to you first is the way that you should use. So subdivide it however you think makes the most sense. It might be a good idea to write it down on a piece of paper, to actually draw the shape on a piece of paper and then figure out what you're doing there before you start subdividing things. So you remember which parts you have as which parts. And then you can make your decision. Do I want to add everything? Do I want to subtract? Which would make most sense? Which would be easiest? This is all a judgment call for you guys, okay? I can't tell you which one to use. All 3 of them work. As you see, I ended up with 95 square meters, 95 square meters, 95 square meters. I always end up with the correct answer. It is your call which way you want to do it, which way makes the most sense to you. All right, so I think that's all that I need to go over for this one. I would like you to move over to the, after you finish making sure that you have all of your notes, to go over to the test. It is up as the second link on this one, on this assignment, and do your best. Good luck, guys. I know you can do it. Bye.